Assalamu alaikum, dear students. Let's have the chapter 2 of physics, that is mathematical methods. As we need certain mathematical methods or tools to understand the topics of physics. Vector analysis is one of the tools used over here. As in the previous chapter, where we studied different aspects of physical quantities like the division into fundamental and derived quantities and the units and dimensions. We have learned all these things in the previous chapter, units and measurements. We also need to understand that all physical quantities may not be fully described by their magnitudes and units alone. For example, if you are given the time for which a man has walked with a certain speed, you can find the distance traveled by the man, but you cannot find out where exactly the man has reached unless you know the direction in which the man has walked. Therefore, we can say that some physical quantities which are called scalars can be described with magnitude alone, whereas some physical quantities which are called vectors need to be described with magnitude as well as direction. As we had discussed the example, the distance traveled by the man is the scalar quantity, while the final position of the man relative to his initial position, that is his displacement, can be described by magnitude and direction and is a vector quantity. So, the physical quantities are mainly classified into two types, like scalars and vectors. Let's see about scalars. The physical quantities which can be completely described by their magnitude are called scalars. That is, they are specified by a number and a unit. For example, when we say that a given metal rod has a length 2 meter, it indicates that the rod is 2 times longer than a certain standard unit meter. Thus, the number 2 is the magnitude and meter is the unit. Together, they give us a complete idea about the length of the rod. Thus, length is a scalar quantity. Another example is to be given when we say that the mass of the stone is 6 kilogram. It indicates that the stone is 6 times heavier than a certain standard unit kilogram. Thus, the number 6, which is the magnitude, and the unit kilogram gives us the complete idea about the mass of the stone. So, the mass is a scalar quantity. Similarly, temperature, density, time, etc. are examples of scalars. The very important property of these scalars are that it can be added or subtracted by rules of simple algebra. Scalars can be added or subtracted by rules of simple algebra. So, as the physical quantities which are mainly classified into two types, that is scalars and vectors. Here we had seen scalars or scalar quantities are physical quantities which have magnitude only and are specified completely by a number and a unit. Now, let's see about vectors. The vectors or vector quantities are physical quantities which have magnitude as well as direction. For example, when we think of displacement of a body, we have to mention the distance traveled by the body, that is the magnitude, and the direction in which the body has moved. Thus, displacement is a vector quantity. So, we can say that physical quantities which need magnitude as well as direction for their complete description are called vectors. The example of the vectors we can give like displacement, velocity, force, momentum, etc. Now, graphically, the vector can be represented by a directed line segment or an arrow. For example, displacement of a body from P to Q is to be represented as from P to Q, where the starting point is P, which is called as the tail, and the point Q is called as the head of the vector. So, symbolically we can write it as PQ, and above we have to put a small arrow. And also, vectors are symbolically represented by a single capital letter with an arrow above it. For example, capital letter X, and above this X we have to put a small arrow. So, it represents as vector X. Similarly, it is vector A. On A we have to put a small arrow there. As vectors has magnitude as well as direction, so the magnitude of any vector in general, for example over here it is given as the magnitude of the vector x, it is to be written as modulus of vector x or only by a letter x there. Now let's have different types of vectors. The first one is given zero vector, or it is also called as null vector. A vector which has zero magnitude with a particular direction is called as a zero vector. As we know that vector quantity having magnitude as well as direction. So, when we are talking about a vector which has zero magnitude with a particular direction is called zero vector or null vector, and it is to be represented as zero vector. We have to put a small arrow above 0 there. Symbolically, it is to be represented as zero vector there. We can give the example of the zero vector as the velocity vector of a stationary particle is a zero vector. As particle is at the stationary position, that means it is not moving. As it is not moving, that means the velocity, which is nothing but the rate of change of displacement. When displacement is not occur, that means over here the value or the magnitude of the velocity is 0. But as the velocity is a vector quantity, so here we can say that a particle which is at the stationary position, its velocity vector is 0 vector there. The next example we can give, the acceleration vector of an object moving with uniform velocity is a 0 vector. Now here, as a particle or the object is moving with the uniform velocity, particle is moving, we are getting the velocity over there, but over here the velocity of the object is uniform, fine, and acceleration is nothing but the rate of change of velocity. That means whenever there will be the change in velocity will takes place with respect to time, we are getting the acceleration. But over here the velocity is uniform, it is not going to be changed. That's why here we can say that as velocity is not going to be changed, the magnitude of the acceleration is 0 over there. As acceleration is nothing but the vector quantity, so we can say that the acceleration vector of an object which is moving with the uniform velocity is 0 vector. So that a vector which is having the 0 magnitude with a particular direction is called as 0 vector. As 0 vector has a 0 magnitude and the direction of the 0 vector has an arbitrary direction. Now, the next type of vectors is resultant vector. As the resultant is the vector sum of two or more vectors, it is the result of adding or subtracting two or more vectors together. And hence, here we can say that if displacement vectors, for example vector A, vector B and vector C, we are added together, then the resultant vector which we can give as for example by a single vector as vector R. So over here the vector R can be determined by the use of an accurately drawn scaled vector addition diagram. And as we know that the vector having magnitude and direction, so that the addition or subtraction of two or more vectors of the same type will take place. That means it will be describing the same physical quantity. And by means of the magnitude, we can add and subtract the magnitudes there, and based on the direction here we have to give the direction of the resultant vector R. So we can say that the resultant of two or more vectors is that a single vector only which produces the same effect as the combination of two or more vectors over there, as they are produced by all the vectors together. As the resultant vector is the vector that results from adding two or more vectors together. In the next topic, we will study in detail in the vector operations like the addition and subtraction of the vectors will give the resultant vector. The method we will see in detail, and two more different types are there to calculate the resultant vector. One is called as the triangle law of vector addition. We can give the resultant vector. In this method, the head to tail method to calculate the resultant, which involves lining up the head of one vector with the tail of the other vector. And the next method to calculate the resultant vector by using the law of parallelogram of vectors there. The next type of vector is negative vector, or also called as opposite vector. A vector having the same magnitude as a particular vector but the direction is opposite are called as negative vectors. A negative sign will reverse the direction of the vector and make it a negative vector. Vectors are only negative with respect to another vector. For example, over here, if a vector A is given points from left to right, then the vector B will be point from right to left. Since these directions are opposite, we say that magnitude of vector A is equal to magnitude of vector B, but as they are opposite in direction, so we can say that vector A is equal to minus vector B. That is, the vector B is negative vector to vector A. Here it is very important to know that the vector A and the vector B having the same magnitude but opposite directions, so making them the negative vectors of each other. So here we can say that a negative vector of a given vector is a vector of the same magnitude but opposite in direction to that of the given vector, as it is given in this figure 2.1, and here the vector B is a negative vector to a vector A, as vector A and vector B having the same magnitude but opposite in direction. Now, the next types of vectors is equal vector. Equal vectors are the vector having the same magnitude and same direction, and it may start at different positions. For example, the two vectors, vector A and vector B, is representing over here with magnitude and direction. So vector A and vector B, as in this figure, having the same magnitude and the direction is also same. So the two vectors A and B representing the same physical quantity are said to be equal if and only if they have the same magnitude and direction. So the equal vectors having the same magnitude and same directions there. So here, as magnitude of vector A is equal to magnitude of vector B and the direction is also same for these two vectors, so we can say that vector A is equal to vector B and hence vector A and vector B are said to be equal vector. Now, let's have next type of vectors, that is the position vector. A straight line having one end fixed to a body and other end attached to a moving point and is used to describe the position of the point relative to the body. Over here, a vector which gives the position of a particle at a point with respect to the origin, we can say, of a chosen coordinate system, that is said to be a position vector of the particle. Now let's have the figure for the position vector as we are choosing the coordinate x axis and y axis. Here at the origin O, we are taking for a body having its one end is fixed over here and another end which is at the point P, it is moving point and this point is used to describe the position of the point relative to the body. As this point moves, so the position of the body will be changes in its length as well as in its direction. As the point P is moving point, point O is fixed point. So point P is moving point, so it is moving anywhere in this chosen coordinate xy there, and that's why the length of the vector as well as the direction at a point P will be changes, or we can say that it will be changes in both length and direction. So here we can say that a vector, over here it is the vector OP, or we can say that the P vector which gives the position of the particle at a point with respect to the origin of the chosen coordinate system is called as the position vector of the particle. So we can say that the position vector that is to be normally described by R vector is equal to vector OP. Okay, so vector R is the position vector of the particle present at the point P with respect to origin. Now, the next and the last type of vectors is unit vector. A unit vector is nothing but a vector having unit magnitude in a given direction. That is called as a unit vector in that direction. For example, if we are taking the vector m, which is a non-zero vector, so its magnitude we can write as m only, or we have to write vector m in modulus. So the magnitude of the vector m we are supposed to write as a letter only, and the unit vector always which is to be denoted by a lower case letter with hat above it. So over here we have to denote a unit vector for the vector m as a small um, and we have to place a small hat above it. So it is to be given as the unit vector of vector m, and hence the vector m is to be written as unit vector into the magnitude of the given vector. So here we are giving it as equation number 1. So if m vector, which is a non-zero vector, we are taking and its magnitude is given as m, which is also non-zero. So the unit vector along the vector m, which is to be written as um hat, is to be given as vector m is equal to unit vector into magnitude of the given vector there. So we can write as the unit vector as the division of the vector quantity to its magnitude there. Here it is given as equation 2. The unit vector m, that is um hat, is equal to vector m upon magnitude of vector m there. Hence, here we can say that the unit vector hat has magnitude unity and has the same direction as that of the vector m there. Over here, the unit vector gives the direction of the given vector. Now, when we are taking the coordinates corresponding with x-axis, y-axis and z-axis. So, over there, let's assume that vector x represents the vector quantity along the x-axis, vector y represents the vector quantity along y-axis, and vector z represents the vector quantity along the z-axis. So, we can given the unit vector along x-axis as I hat, along y-axis the unit vector is to be given as j hat, and the unit vector along z-axis is to be given as k hat respectively. And for the unit vector, always the letter we are using must be there in the lower case letter only. So, here we are assuming that the I vector or I hat, j hat and k hat respectively are the unit vectors along the x, y and z directions of the rectangular or three-dimensional coordinate system. So, as per the definition over here, first of all, the unit vector along the x-axis, that is ux hat, is equal to I hat. Unit vector along y-axis, that is uy hat, is equal to j hat, and unit vector along z-axis is uz hat is equal to k hat. And as per the definition of the unit vector, which is nothing but the vector quantity is to be divided by its magnitude. So, the unit vector along the x-axis, which is to be represented as I hat, is equal to vector quantity along x-axis, that is x vector, and it is to be divided by magnitude of vector x, that is x over here. So, I hat is equal to vector x upon x there. Similarly, the unit vector along y-axis, which is to be given as j hat, is equal to the vector quantity along y-axis, which is y vector. It is to be divided by magnitude of the y vector, that is y only. So, j hat is equal to vector y upon y, and the unit vector along the z-axis, which is to be given as k hat, is equal to the vector quantity along the z-axis, which is given as z vector, is to be divided by magnitude of the z vector, which is to be given as z there, so that the unit vector along the z-axis k hat is equal to vector z upon z. Give it equation number 3. So, here vector x, vector y and vector z is nothing but the vectors along the x, y and z axis respectively, and I cap, j cap and k cap are the unit vectors along the x, y and z directions respectively of a rectangular, that is the three-dimensional coordinate system. These are the different types of vectors. So, here we have studied vector analysis, as all physical quantities are mainly classified into two types, scalars and vectors. Scalars or scalar quantities are physical quantities which have magnitude only and are specified completely by a number and a unit. Length, time, temperature, density, etc. are examples of scalars. And scalars can be added or subtracted by the rules of simple algebra. Then next, vectors or vector quantities are the physical quantities which have magnitude as well as direction. That means the physical quantities which need magnitude as well as direction for their complete description are called as vectors. Example of vectors are displacement, velocity, force, etc. there. And a vector can be represented by a directed line segment or by an arrow. The length of the line segment drawn to scale gives the magnitude of the vector. For example, displacement of a body from P to Q can be represented as P, an arrow, then Q. Starting point of the P is called the tail and end point Q, arrowhead, is called the head of the vector. Symbolically, we write it as PQ and above the small arrow we have to put. So, symbolically vectors are also represented by a single capital letter with an arrow above it. For example, X, above it we are putting the arrow, so it is vector X. A, above it we are putting the arrow, so it is vector A, etc. The magnitude of a vector X is to be written as modulus of vector X or only by means of the capital letter, that is X there. Then we had seen different types of vectors. A is given 0 vector, which is also called as null vector. A vector having 0 magnitude with a particular direction, that is arbitrary direction, is called as 0 vector. And symbolically it is to be represented as above 0 we have to put the small arrow over there. Examples are to be given. Velocity vector of a stationary particle is a 0 vector, and also the acceleration vector of an object moving with uniform velocity is a 0 vector. Then next type we had seen resultant vector, which is nothing but the resultant of two or more vectors is a single vector which produces the same effect as produced by all vectors together. Then the next type is negative vector or known as opposite vector. A negative vector of a given vector is a vector of the same magnitude but opposite in direction to that of the given vector. For example, vector A is given over here moving from left to right there, and vector B is in opposite direction. The direction is given from right to left, as vector A having the same magnitude as that of the vector B, but the direction of vector A and vector B are in opposite direction. So here we can say that the vector B is a negative vector to that of the vector A, and hence we can write vector A is equal to minus of vector B, where minus sign indicates the direction is opposite to each other. Then the next step we had seen equal vectors. The two vectors A and B representing the same physical quantity, and it is to be equal if and only if they have the same magnitude and direction. For example, the vector A and vector B having the same magnitude and they are directed in the same direction, so that vector A and vector B are said to be the equal vectors. Then next we had seen position vector, a vector which gives the position of a particle at a point with respect to the origin of a chosen coordinate system is called the position vector of a particle. Here point P indicates the position of the particle with respect to the origin, so that vector R, which is equal to OP vector, is the position vector of the particle present at point P. And the last type we had seen unit vector. A vector having unit magnitude in a given direction is called as unit vector in that direction. If vector M is non-zero vector, so its magnitude m is also non-zero, and the unit vector along vector m is to be written as cap, where a small letter case we are supposed to take to represent the unit vector over there, and it is to be given as vector m is equal to unit vector into magnitude of the given vector, and hence unit vector cap is to be given as given vector divided by magnitude of the vector there. So over here the unit vector, that is the cap, has magnitude unity and has the same direction as that of the given vector m there. Now if we are taking the rectangular coordinate system or three-dimensional coordinate system having x, y and z axis, so over there along the x axis the unit vector is to be represented as I cap, along the y axis the unit vector is to be given as j cap, and along the z axis the unit vector is to be represented as k cap respectively, and hence I cap is to be given as vector x upon magnitude of the vector x, j cap is to be given as vector y upon magnitude of vector y, and k cap is to be given as vector z divided by magnitude of vector z there. So these are the types of the vectors there. So here we have completed the topic vector analysis. The chapter will be continued next time in the next lecture. Thank you.